Hi guys, and welcome back to Lady Jane Books. Today I'm doing the bookshelf tag. Before we dive in, we have a very serious item to discuss on the agenda, and that is the fact that Lady Jane Books has now exceeded over 70 subscribers. That's right, you heard me, 70 subscribers. I cannot tell you what that means to me. In all seriousness, I want to thank each and every one of you who subscribe and continue to view my videos. It means so much to me, and I'm very, very thankful to each of you. So with that said, we now commence with the sacred tradition of the jazz hands. So we're doing 70, so that is 7 sets of jazz hands. Ready? Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Woo! 7 jazz hands, yes. Jingle, 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 jingle. Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Hey, Lady Jane got 70 subscribers. Hey, 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 yay! But in all seriousness, again, thank you all so much. I really appreciate it. And now let's get back to the actual video. Today I am doing the bookshelf book tag. I was tagged by Very Literary Carrie, who I will link in the description box below. She has like a ton of really, really interesting videos. And I personally am a big fan of hers, so when she like turned around and tagged me in this, I felt like really, really blessed. Now, a small disclaimer before we start in on this video. I have a very modest bookshelf where I'm living currently. However, in another location, I have my real bookshelf, or my bookshelf that has the majority of my books. But since I'm not going to be traveling to that location anytime soon, you're going to have to like bear with me. I'm going to try my best to do this in a way that's interesting, but just know that I'm kind of riding 2 horses with one bum in this case. Number 1, how many bookshelves do you own? I have 2 full bookshelves and 1 little lip of my TV stand that I keep all my currently read books on. Number 2, how many books are on your bookshelf? I counted recently and I own over 130 books. And I would say about 70 of those books are physical copies. And then I counted, and the physical books that I'm having here in my living space is about 40. Number 3, how do you organize your bookshelves? I usually organize them by color. I think it's a very like visually appealing method of organizing books on bookshelves. But I do appreciate that it can kind of make it a little bit difficult to find certain books that you're looking for. And I have a small enough number that it's not going to take me too long. But I know that somebody who has hundreds or even like thousands of books, this may not be the best method. But I like it, and I think it's pretty. I also now organize them by types of books. So I have like my hardcovers on one side, my unread hardcovers, my unread paperbacks, and then I have a section for all my read books. Number 4, what is the oldest book on your bookshelf? The oldest book on my bookshelf is a book called Stories That Scared Even Me, a short story collection presented by Alfred Hitchcock. This was published in 1967, and I have a first printing of it. A funny story, I actually found it at a yard sale that one of my community members was holding. And I looked at this, and I saw that it was a first printing of a 1967 book. And I cannot believe that they were going to like throw away that. Who throws away like priceless books like, well, it might not be priceless. I mean, it's priceless to me because I love Alfred Hitchcock, I love books, and I love old things. So this was priceless to me, and I couldn't believe that this person was going to get rid of it, so I snapped it up for a whopping $1. Crafty Baby Jane. This book is really interesting. It's a selection of like short horror stories that are really, really vintage, like true vintage. And each one has like a foreword presented by Alfred Hitchcock about what he appreciates about the story and how it influenced some of his work and films. So it's very interesting, and now it's mine. Bourbon tea break. Number 5, what is the newest book on your bookshelf? I don't know. I did a recent book haul, and I'll link that in the description below if you're interested to hearing like the latest books that I bought. But I don't know which one's like the most recent published or the last one that I bought. But I think I'm going to go with Tangerine for this one. I believe it was published in 2018. And I believe it was the last book that I actually added to my cart. So I'm going to go with that one, but I don't know how true it is. Number 6. What is the longest book on your bookshelf? This baby! And I had it right next to me because I'm reading it now. Reading it. Get it? It. I'm reading it. Okay. This book is a monster. It is over 1,000 pages long. I am slowly but surely making my way through it. And this is the longest book that I own. Number 7. What is the shortest book on your bookshelf? The shortest book on my bookshelf is Rules for a Night by Ethan Hawke. I bought this on a whim. I'm a giant Ethan Hawke fan, like giant, it's kind of a problem. And when I saw that he like wrote this, I bought it. And I like it. It's like a leather little, not leather, it's not leather, it's cloth bound. It's a cloth bound book, and it's just little like sayings and stories and like with messages about people and like the greater meaning of life. So it's a lot of fun. Let's compare. The largest book on my bookshelf, smallest book on my bookshelf. Number 8. What is the predominant genre on your bookshelves? Right now, the most popular genre on my bookshelves are thriller, followed closely by horror, then literary fiction, and a little bit of young adult. Number 9. Have you ever done a bookshelf tour? I have not. And I have pretty good reason why not. Like I said, the bookshelf that's in my living space right now is very limited compared to the bookshelves that I have in another location. So I don't feel like it's almost like a real bookshelf type of thing. So I want to do one, don't get me wrong. I think they're so much fun to watch. But I want to wait until I can have all of my books together in one and give you guys like the full view of the books that I own. I want to be as classy and put together as Carrie thinks I am. But thank you, Carrie, that was very sweet. It means a lot to me. Number 10. Go to a random number generator and talk about the book that corresponds with the number you get. I'm loving random number generators these days. I really am. They're a lot of fun. I got the number 2. And the book that corresponds with it is The Appearance of Annie Van Syndron by Katherine Howe. I actually bought this book in Salem, Massachusetts. I was visiting there and I went to this beautiful little bookshop and I bought Salem's Lot and The Appearance of Annie Van Syndron, and I thought it was so cool about it too. But I had read Conversion by Katherine Howe and I really liked it. Katherine Howe writes a lot about the Salem witch trials and really does like modern takes about it, which I think is super fascinating. So when I saw that she had this book out, I bought it. This book is about a young man who's starting out in New York City, and he really gets to be in this kind of underground world of seances and psychics and mediums. And there's something to do with like a beautiful girl that he meets. And I don't know too much more about this book because I really want to go into it blind. But I absolutely love this cover. Look at this thing. It's so gorgeous. Number 11. Do you have any fan merchandise or decor on your bookshelves? I do. I love pop figurines. I think they're so cute and really fun. They add something to my bookshelves. I have a lot more of them back in my more permanent space in the bookshelves that are not where I'm living now. I have like the Harry Potter ones. I have like Snape, Lucius, Gellert Grindelwald, Malfoy, you know, all the bad boys, of course. For the bookshelves that I'm living with now, I have the Marilyn Monroe pop figurine. I love Marilyn Monroe. I also have a bunch of candles on my bookshelf, which seems a little counterintuitive, but I love like Yankee candles and Bath and Body Works candles. So to act as almost like pseudo bookends, I'll put like giant candles, and then if I'm looking at my books, I can take my candle and sniff them and then think of my books while I'm sniffing candles, and it's a great time had by everybody. What do you do, Jane? Like, seriously. Go around sniffing candles and staring at books. Number 12, show us your bookshelves. I'm going to add in some footage where you can see my bookshelves, and here you go and enjoy. And number 13, tag someone. I'm going to tag David from David's Book Reviews. I would love to see his book collection. I think that'd be really cool, and like how his bookshelves are organized and his collection. I think that'd be really neat. I'm also going to tag a couple of books who his bookshelves are in his background, and it looks so impressive. They're these open like floating shelves, and it's packed to the brim with books. And I want to look a little bit closer, so please do this tag. And I'm also going to tag my new friend, Attention. Now, his background is incredibly interesting. It looks like a beautiful, like old type of home library with the tall bookshelves and all of the beautiful volumes. And then he's got like books spaced around on his desk, and it makes me feel really, really intelligent for some reason. And I absolutely love watching his videos. I'm going to link all of these people in the description box below, so you should go check out their content and also maybe creep on their bookshelves a little bit too. And that's all I have for today. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Fun fact, this tea is flavored with bourbon. It doesn't have bourbon in it, it's not alcohol tea, but the name of the tea is bourbon, and it tastes very similar to bourbon, and it's very exciting. The oldest book that I own, it doesn't have any tea. It doesn't have any tea in it? This is all bourbon? You drinking bourbon straight, James? Ooh. It doesn't have any bourbon in it, but it's flavored in a way that mimics bourbon, and it tastes really like comforting and warm. And it's perfect on like cold, snowy days, especially when you're like wrapped up with a book. So bourbon tea, guys, just letting you know. The shortest book on my bookshelf is a Rule for a Night now. Oh, that's cool. That's cool. Look at that. It doesn't even like take up a quarter. Wow. Well, it does. Kind of. Yeah. That's kind of fun to see. That's a juxtaposition if I ever saw one. Right now, the predominant, I need more tea. So when I saw her, I had to take her home. She was so cool. So when I saw that Marilyn Monroe had her own pop figurine, you know I put my money down for her. That doesn't sound right. Doesn't. Don't talk about Marilyn like that, Jane. Right now, the most popular genre of books on my bookshelves is thriller, followed closerly. Wow, is that bourbon tea, Jane? Lay off the bourbon tea.